Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Ferber the Nerd with another comic book market report for y'all coming through on Monday, September 9th. This is another start to almost the end of the third quarter here, and we are blazing along, but I have seen a bit of a drop in the comic book market lately. I don't know if that's due to the economy or just maybe perhaps some Comic Con fatigue, or maybe people are just prepping for the upcoming, which is crazy, holiday 2024 season. I'm not sure. There aren't a lot of shows coming out or any new movies or anything like that, but I I don't know. I think this is just, I don't know if this is necessarily like buy on the dip. Shout out to Specc Media, or maybe wait for a little bit lower sales. However, there are some books that did pop off that are new, so maybe that that FOMO bug is still always going to be around. But regardless, if you do enjoy these shows, we're at 804 subscribers today. We took a weekend off just because of the football season, and I'm just kind of burnt out a little bit from podcasting, all that. But we're back this week. We'll be back on Sunday. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be doing a podcast on Thursday on a different show. But if you do like these shows, if you do want to support the channel, please hit that like button. Watch the other videos to kind of get a market analysis of what's going on. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We do appreciate your support. But without further ado, let's get into it. I kind of went over a pretty broad collection of comics this week. These are all mostly modern books, if not all are considered modern. And a couple new ones here as well. I haven't really picked up any like new spec books lately. I've just been reading a lot and kind of condensing my collection as of right now. But without further ado, let's get into it. So Aliens #1, I think I talked about this on a live show, but I was just curious if it's still, if the heat index is still pretty high on this book, and it seems like it is. The big thing with this is condition. $2,000 for a 9.8. You're gonna have to pay that up regardless of whether you want one in a 9.8 or not. Direct, whatever. There are multiple prints of this book, so if you are looking for maybe like this could be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of like prints wise, right? It's not going to be ever get to that high a price or whatnot. But if you're looking at kind of a better value, I would go for the second or third prints. And I forgot an L on that well there. But yeah, $2K for a 9.8. I think it just has to do with basically really hard to get in a 9.8. I would probably roll with a CBCS personally if you can find one versus a CGC, and you'll see why a little bit later. But on to the next one. Amazing Spider-Man 361. This is the first appearance of Carnage, not Cletus Cassidy, which I kind of thought that, I think the market gravitates towards not so much the first person, but the first character. And that makes sense, right? Like, who wants a spec on the first Cletus Cassidy? It's a fun secondary spec to go off of, but it definitely goes for lower. I think if you're going to go in the order of like spec value, you want to go with ASM 361. And then the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy, which I don't remember what it's in, and then maybe the second appearance of Carnage. But interestingly enough, I know Brian McClay, shout out to Beyond Wednesdays and their channel. He's been curious of like what the CBCS and CGC sales are going for. Now, this was like a couple weeks ago sales, but a 9.6 in CGC and CBCS also sold for the same exact price. Now it's a 9.6, it's not a 9.8, but maybe the market for just a 9.6 in those two companies is coming closer. There's obviously going to be competition in PSA, but I think that we have some time. Everyone's touting PSA is going to be as being the next big thing, but they could run into the same issues that CGC's run into. As a collector, I'd always go CBCS. But as a seller or a flipper, I go CGC. It just what is the market is showing. But who knows? I mean, this is one sale that I've found that the margin is getting closer. So, classic book. We all love this book. And if you're not reading Venom War currently by, I think it's Al Ewing, I believe. I'm not sure. Read it. It made me want to get this book again. And I don't remember how Cletus came back because he died in a previous series. Witchblade #1. I've talked about this book quite a bunch. It's one of the grails for me, the retailer incentive variant. It's Michael Turner's greatest achievement. This book went on for like 100 issues. They revamped it this past, I don't know when, but I didn't pick it up. But I think it's just because Michael Turner's gone, and I mean, it's just unfortunate. But regardless, the 9.8 Ace edition went for $150 unsigned, which I think is pretty strong. That's a reprint you'd have to get through Wizard, by the way. It's a beautiful cover and a great series. I think everyone should read it. The art is just beautiful. Everyone talks about J. Scott Campbell being the best like female artist. I would say personally, I think Michael Turner, for me, is one of the best artists I've ever seen, or I've ever read. My favorite is Mark Silvestri. Maybe one day I'll get his autograph. But regardless, Witchblade #1, one of your indie top cow image imprints from the great late Michael Turner. A newer book this week, I Lie, Popeye, the variant edition of this book. Now, I didn't know this, but this book was open order. I think Lefteros called this out a while back, but shout out to Lefteros. If you're not following him on Instagram, give him a follow. He's one of the best FOC, I wouldn't say spec guys, just FOC listers in general. $25 to $40 for an open order book. That's pretty strong. So this is those once in a year open order books, FOC, that you can buy 50 of and sell them for, 500% times more, which is only $20 more. But I mean, like 5 times. I mean, that's quite a bit of money. I would assume this is going to be a pretty tough 9.8. I don't know who the publisher of this book is. I don't even know what the book's about, but it's obviously hitting nostalgia with Popeye, and it's obviously hitting nostalgia with your Punch Out, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, one of the greatest games of all time. Just a fun game. I think I only got to Mr. Sandman, but anyway, it's nostalgia collectors. Nostalgia collectors will buy this book. I'm assuming this will do pretty well for 3 to 4 months. I guess we'll retrack this in like December and see what the sales are going for. But I'm personally not a buyer of this book. I used to love Popeye when I was a kid, but it just doesn't really do anything for me at $25 to $40. But nonetheless, I think it has some staying power, but we'll see. The Boys #1, I couldn't find any like really good 9.8 examples of this book. However, there was 2 sold sets of this for $1,750 for the complete run. I think that's really strong, especially for a series that is an independent series. Obviously Amazon did really well with this show. I think it's kind of tailored off a little bit. You can only do so much like in your face, grotesque kind of stuff. And I don't know. We'll see. I think if you're a Garth Ennis fan, or if you're looking to do like a Garth Ennis, or if you're speccing on Garth Ennis in general, I mean, he's had, let's see, The Boys. He's had Preacher. There's another show that's supposedly coming out, Crossed. Evidently, I don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition, but he's not a bad writer to spec on. If I was speccing on any Garth Ennis written stuff, and I have a personal kind of like inkling to this show as well, or this property, I'd spec on The Darkness, but that's just me. Probably won't ever come to the big maybe Amazon, who knows? But nonetheless, a sketch signed variant went for $500, 9.8. Actually, not. It wasn't a variant. It was just a regular cover. But I think that's pretty strong for this book. I don't know if it'll ever get past $1,000. I just don't think it will ever do that. But I definitely think this will. Like, if you're a collector and you're just like, man, I really want a good price, I'd probably only pay like $250 to $300 for this book. I think it's gonna follow suit with like The Preacher, and far as the value of that book, which has dropped down significantly, but it's still a great collectible to have. So, but yeah, nonetheless, The Boys #1 in 9.8. Before I go on to the next slide, I just want to say thanks everyone for their support. We got nominated for an award for the CBCA Awards. So if you haven't voted, go ahead and vote for whoever you want to do. But it'd be awesome if you voted for us, and I'll put the link in the description below. And if you do like these shows, I try and do them every Monday after all the Sunday sales have closed. Hit that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends. I think a few weeks ago, we hit 700, almost 2,000 views on the last one. So I guess we're doing something right. The last video I put out didn't do as well, so I'll keep doing them. I do enjoy doing these and helping the community out. So appreciate y'all. Hulk #1. This is the first, not so much appearance of the Red Hulk, but this is the first cover and the first, I don't know, appearance in general of Red Hulk. I know there's like a previews where I actually think that cover is actually a lot better, but this seems to be the book that everyone's gravitating towards. It's dropped a little 275 since the trailer hit. I feel like if you were like trying to bank on getting the most money for your buck, that was the time to sell the book. But people are, I mean, it's still strong sales. I mean, this is a great character. It's a great read. The cover really does it for me, I think. $1.25 for a 9.6, which I don't think is bad. But I don't, we'll see. I wouldn't buy this for 225 thinking it's going to hit 500 this December. But I'm excited for the show or the movie. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Hulk #1, Red Hulk. Good luck. This is not PS5 Concord. This is Amazing Spider-Man 658, I want to say. Hold on a second. Jeez. Oh, 654. I'm so sorry. 654. Yeah, this is a book that has eluded me ever since the pandemic. I've never owned a copy of this. I just thought it was too expensive. I remember seeing these go for $200 in raw, and 178 went for this past week in a 9.6 with multiple bids on this. Super hard in 9.8 just because, I mean, look at the cover. There wasn't a lot of these, like, I guess sought out for, but I think it's a great book to have. 9.8, I couldn't find any legit sales of this book. It's just really hard to get 9.8, but I don't know. I think I would definitely pay $200 for a 9.6 in this book and just have it. Maybe later down the road, get it crossed over to CBCS. I don't know. Or maybe get it signed by the person who actually plays the character. But yeah, 9.8s are super tough in this book. I don't know if you could CPR this book very well, but I guess we'll see. But nonetheless, yeah, I couldn't find any legit 9.8 sales. This goes for raw pretty high, but I would rather get a 9.6 for $200 rather than risk getting a raw and getting like a 9.2 or 9.4. So, because those don't go for very much. And last but not least, I did kind of insinuate, the Thunderbolts movie coming out, but Incredible Hulk 449, the first Thunderbolts movie. I don't know why I said question mark in that, but it's the first Thunderbolts appearance of the Thunderbolts. 9.8 Newsy went for almost $800. That's had multiple bids on it as well. A 9.8 Direct goes for $349. Now this is super hard in 9.8. Good luck if you have a 9.8 in this book. Like, awesome. I don't know if I would try and buy this for $350 and sell it for $500. I think it's too much of a risk. But that Newsy 9.8, man, that's a pretty strong sale. I'm not a buyer of this book, but Peter David was one of my favorites during the Incredible Hulk runs that he did. It brought me back to my youth. But nonetheless, I think Incredible Hulk has some really cool characters, like kind of one-off characters that you should read about. But other than that, I don't. It's hard for me to spec on this. It's a team movie. It's a team first appearance, and historically those don't do as well as we would hope. But that's the list for today. Only about 15 minutes in, just doing a quick little video for today. But I do appreciate everyone coming through. Hit that like button, subscribe, friends. Join the Discord. I'll put the links in the bio, or not in the bio, but in the description below. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you next week. Actually, I'll do another video tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.